Bonus, bitches.
But yeah, Harry Potter, it's cool. I don't know if either of us are like super hardcore fans.
No, but like it's a IP that has stayed with me for a very long time. It's something that like me and my mother and my brother in the early years of our parents being divorced was something like we really bonded over. Like we would watch the movies and we went to a couple midnight premieres.
Did you follow the series like movie to movie for
Yes.
all of your childhood?
Yes.
Do you remember where like you hopped in at?
Probably like Azkaban and Goblet of Fire. I mean, like we had seen them growing up, but like I was so young to really like, there's a certain point in time where you do not follow, oh, it's coming out next summer.
Yeah.
It's just like something gets advertised to you and somehow you end up in a movie theater.
Oh, it's out. Okay.
Yeah. Mom's taking us in the '07 Trailblazer. No problem. Like, it's just something you don't pay attention to, man.
I was curious about that, and that seems about right with like our age difference.
Mm-hmm.
I saw like Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets like in theaters. I was super into it around the age of like 6 to 7. Read the first 2 books, and then after Chamber of Secrets, I didn't watch another Harry Potter movie until I was like 18.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I had to play catch up.
Were you too cool, bro?
I don't know what happened. I think I was at a sleepover one time when I was about 9, and like Prisoner of Azkaban was the newest movie, and they put it on that night. And for some reason, I just thought it sucked. Like at the time, like I just could not get into it. And then like Harry Potter was dead to me for like a decade after that. Really weird.
Prisoner of Azkaban scared me as a kid.
It's a big departure from the first 2. That's for sure.
It was scary and sad.
It's not as like whimsical.
Yeah. My mom always loved the first couple films. She was a big fan of like, she loved The Sorcerer's Stone and like Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban. I actually loved the, like kind of the middle of the pack, like 4, 5, 6. And so, yeah, we're going to hop into the ranking. It's a little bit of a prelude. So,
Okay. I think I have one more question before we hop in.
Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts. Does this?
we do not, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I didn't know if you'd ever even like seen any of them.
I saw the first one in theaters, I believe. And I remember walking away being like,
So did I, and that's like considered the best one out of that series. And I thought it kind of sucked.
it fucking was bad.
Yeah.
Actually, in my opinion, I thought like it was really fucking boring.
And from what I hear, the other 2 were like considerably worse.
Yeah. Big side note, Warner Brothers just announced that they're like making more Lord of the Rings movies. Really bizarre and random, but like I just saw it was announced like on Friday or something.
I thought you were gonna say they're rebooting Harry Potter.
No.
Because they are.
Yeah. Gotta bring back the IPs that everybody loves. Let's fucking ruin them. Let's do the fucking Star Wars, Marvel, Disney, Fox owned bullshit. Like, let's fucking run this shit to the grave.
Yeah.
Ruin an IP. Let's get it rolling.
I think it'll be a failure if they bring it back again.
The Hobbit sucked for a reason. And it's because
That's what I've heard.
People just you can't stretch that shit. Never mind. We're gonna talk about things that we like. Okay, let's have fun.
Yeah. Just the 8 mainline movies.
Yeah. Hey man, Harry Potter's great.
Should we explain the rules? I know I ask that question every time we do this.
Yeah, we're gonna follow your list. There's 8 films. We will talk about what we both have at number 8 to start out with, and whatever number 8 is for both of us is great, but we will talk about your ranking. We will talk about the film at that number as we go up to number 1. So starting out at number 8, I have Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Ooh, okay. At number 8, I have The Half-Blood Prince.
Wow. Okay.
We're already starting off on the wrong foot.
Good. We're going to fucking shed blood over this shit. Okay. Half-Blood Prince, your thoughts?
Okay, this has always been my least favorite of the series, and I think it's the one that I've rewatched the least. I think that narratively, the focus in this one is just all wrong. In the movie prior to Half-Blood Prince, everybody becomes aware of Voldemort returning. And then the story of Half-Blood Prince is like a teen romance most of the time with like Ron and this other redhead girl. And then you have this like stuff with Harry and Ginny that I think is really flat. I'm not trying to, I want to state early on that we're not comparing these movies to what the book is.
Yeah.
But from what I know, the book is focused on Voldemort's backstory and like going into his memories. And that's like 25% of this movie. And I think that's like kind of a missed opportunity.
Okay. Half-Blood Prince is significantly higher for me.
Okay.
I respectfully disagree with you. This is actually the last time to me where the films feel fun. I think after this, the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 become kind of just like really fucking boring.
Okay.
And it's like this hunt for Horcrux. I've never read the book, so I really don't know how the pacing goes, but to me, it just kind of feels like they're super bleak. The cinematography delves deeper into bleakness after this in the Deathly Hallows, and I think like this film actually has like a really nice balance to it. Like there is some fun with like the luck potion. Like Harry becomes essentially like gets drunk on this luck potion. That's a really fun scene. Dumbledore kind of plays like a front role where like in previously like in the Order of the Phoenix, he feels really distant compared to like earlier in the series, and like this kind of like helps bring that relationship back. The scene where Dumbledore is drinking the potion to try to get the Horcrux at the bottom. Like stuff like that. Like that scene's really fucking awesome. You get the Snape betrayal. Things get really heavy at the end, but it feels like really earned. Like I do think the stuff with Ron is like really, really fucking boring.
Yeah.
But I think it really helps propel really nice momentum into Deathly Hallows Part 1. Because I remember being there in the theater being like, I cannot believe fucking Dumbledore just died. And I cannot believe Snape just betrayed. Like, to me, it felt like the movie that had the best cliffhanger, story beat-wise. It was really fucking tight.
Don't get me wrong. The final 30 minutes of this movie is like fucking awesome. The moment they go on the adventure to go find that first Horcrux, like the stuff in the cave with the potion, like you said, visually it's amazing. Emotionally, I don't know if it feels like the narrative leads us to that spot in like a very like smooth way.
Okay.
I like all the stuff with like Harry trying to befriend Professor Slughorn to get like his darkest secret about Voldemort. Like that shit's really cool. But it feels like the movie for the first, I don't know, like 70% of it doesn't have like a narrative focus. I still don't understand what the Half-Blood Prince is. Like,
yeah, I think maybe that's something that the movie missed. Obviously, Snape being the Half-Blood Prince, I don't know. Kind of felt that was a missed mark, but like Snape's betrayal made a lot of sense. He's always felt like this weird dark figure that's kind of like loomed over, even from like Sorcerer's Stone. Like everybody thought Snape was the bad guy.
he's been hard to pin down for sure.
Fuck Alan Rickman, dude. What a fucking G.
That certainly should be said. He's amazing, and this is a long series, and he remains consistently great in the role the whole time.
I fucking agree. I don't know. To me, it felt like it's actually like one of the more solid films because I think it kind of has like a little bit of everything going for it. The fun, the intensity, the darker moments, Snape's betrayal being like some of the heaviest moments in the series. Cinematography wise, I think there's like some deep, dark color palette use, but also like film score like helps elevate the funness in certain aspects. To me, it's an all around fun one.
I think the cinematography angle is interesting. Like the way we differ on this, I think this is like one of the ugliest ones of the series. It's very desaturated.
Yes.
Like to the point where
A lot of browns, a lot of dark green, black.
it's like hard to see in certain scenes.
I agree.
And maybe like that would be the case more with Deathly Hallows Part 1, but a lot of that movie takes place outside, so there's like natural lighting.
Yeah.
I don't know, and a lot of this movie takes place like in Hogwarts most of the time. Man, if number 8's any indication, this is going to be an interesting list.
Number 7, I have Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. At number 7, I have The Chamber of Secrets.
Okay.
Is that a hot take? I don't even know, actually.
No, I'm close behind you there. Chamber of Secrets is it's okay.
Yeah, that's probably how I would describe it as well.
I think we talked about this off air, but the problem with ranking these is going to be we're going to have our favorites, we're going to have our least favorites, and everything in the middle is going to be like, it's pretty good. So,
yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot of like differences among them.
Yeah.
I think the thing about Chamber of Secrets is that it's the shortest book. It's also the longest movie for some reason.
Really?
I think it kind of feels like a retread of Sorcerer's Stone, but the material is a little bit weaker. And because the movie's so long, it feels like it's padded out with a lot of filler time. Like the main narrative of the movie is like based around the mystery of what is the Chamber of Secrets. There's like not a whole lot of suspense or intrigue about the mystery to me. The last time I watched this, like I feel like I zoned out for like the whole 2 hours and was like, yeah.
I think it's also kind of evident that it's a little too early to introduce like a lot of like Tom Riddle, Voldemort backstory.
I agree.
Like it just feels a little too odd. I think this is the last movie that OG Dumbledore is in as well.
Yeah. Richard Harris died after this, right? I'm sure we'll get into like which Dumbledore is better as we go along, with like Michael Gambon appearing in the later films.
He's so much better.
He's a lot better.
The original Dumbledore sounds like this the whole time.
They're
Harry.
entirely different characters,
they are.
almost.
Yeah, Dumbledore 2.0 feels so much more mysterious and all-powerful. And I think maybe that's probably evident of like the way the story kind of like puts him more on the forefront. Like it's less about like this adventure discovery of this world, and it's more like, no, there's some actual dark shit going on here. We gotta focus.
It does feel kind of early for
Yeah.
a lot of that dark shit to come in.
I do think like set wise, it's like one of the coolest fucking scenes. Like the ending of the film, the basilisk chamber, whoever the headmaster of the Slytherin house was, his chamber of secrets is fucking sick. It is set up like a mystery. Actually, I think a lot of the films are actually set up like in a mystery.
To a degree.
Yeah.
Something weird's going on. We're going to figure it out eventually.
Yeah. I don't know. When the first film was like really charming and discovering, and it kind of like plays into those same roles. But like we're already established, so we don't really have to do too much of that.
Yeah. As far as like positives go, I think the intro is really great, with Ron stealing his parents' car and like rescuing Harry. Like that shit's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I think just once they get to the castle and it's all about like people being like the petrified. Yeah. It just meanders around for a long ass time before getting to like a pretty fun final act or final scene, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of the positive stuff from Sorcerer's Stone spills over. The set design, practical effects.
They're kids. They're super young.
The snake, this is CGI in like 2002. It like looks pretty good.
Really fucking good, actually.
Yeah. The CGI in some of the later films is actually worse than from these first two.
I fucking agree.
It's so weird.
I think one of the charming things about the earlier films is that the use of CGI was actually pretty fucking smart, because a lot of them were done in low light. Like it's similar to like Jurassic Park. The reason why Jurassic Park looks so fucking good and the T-Rex looks good to this day is because it's done in really poor lighting. You know, when maybe like early on, like in the Sorcerer's Stone, like Voldemort being on the back of like that professor's head looked a little fucking odd, but you know, to the point where we're in this chamber of secrets, the snake looks fucking good. It's dark and scary, and I actually really like the angle of the dark arts professor being like a fucking scam con artist.
Yeah, he's a fucking fraud.
That was a really fun one. But yeah, Chamber of Secrets. We talked about it enough. It's good.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Number 6, you go first.
Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, okay.
Not too far off.
Probably going to upset a lot of people with this one because I think it's a lot of people's favorites. Goblet of Fire.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know like where this sits for you later on, but
It's a little higher, but how come?
I think it's just because I don't really care about who wins the Triwizard Tournament. Like, the thought of Harry winning doesn't excite me. Like, in terms of what this series has been so far, like this evil looming, it's like, oh, here's like sports for a whole movie.
Okay.
There's other things, and I'll bring them in, but that's like one of the main things that I'm never excited about returning to Goblet of Fire.
I think the criticisms of this film are valid. Why is Harry in the Triwizard Cup? He's too young. There's a fourth name that gets spit out, even though it's a Triwizard Cup. Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? like that's
Dumbledore said gently.
Yeah. You know, that's a great meme moment. But I think the films start to get a little darker at this rate, and like I think the dragon shit is super cool, and the games are actually really fun. Help explore the wizarding world. Also, you get like Rob Pat.
Oh yeah,
early in his career.
This is pre-Twilight.
Yeah,
right?
Mr. McDreamy, bro. He's the guy of this era. I don't know. Him dying helps propel into the next film. At this point in the series, it really helps feel like there's good carryover in, you know, moving forward from like, oh, like things are actually like really impacting our characters.
The first 3 are a little bit of like isolated stories in a way.
Voldemort coming to full power. You know, Wormtail comes off the last film. He plays more of a role in this one. It gets dark in moments. in a good amount. Like it's nice and balanced. Harry and Ron and Hermione, their friendship becomes severed because of like the whole dance and like stuff like that's like really funny at times. Like you know, Hagrid and headmistress of the girls' school, and feeling like there's really interesting subplots of like Death Eaters with like Snape and the other headmaster of like the Bulgarian school or whatever the fuck it is, and you know, there's some mystery involved, some darkness looming. I don't know. That's why I like it. It's a lot higher for me.
There's like positives for me for sure. I think in terms of lore, it explores or expands this world a lot more. This is another instance of the final 30 minutes are like just fucking awesome. Yeah, like them showing up at the graveyard, like using the trophy as the port key. Like it feels like stakes and tension ramp up considerably.
I love the opening too. Them going to like the Quidditch World Cup.
Yeah.
And like they open up the tent is really small in like this I don't know, festival or whatever, the World Cup, and they open it up and it's this huge like almost penthouse like
yeah, it reminds you why the magic in this universe is like really cool. I really don't like how much of an ass Ron becomes in this movie.
Yeah, Ron is an ass.
It's like this point forward, he's an ass in every movie. And I never really understood why. Like he's upset with Harry. A lot of the school is upset with Harry in this one about like being picked for the tournament underage. But like he's the dude that's like saved everyone's asses 3 movies in a row now. I don't know. It just feels like a weird like narrative turn to take. I don't know. It's the whole movie, like all the Potter movies take place over like a full school year. And this is like if your high school homecoming week like took place over the whole year. And that just sounds miserable.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. You're kind of right. I fucking hated school dances, dude.
Oh, dude, it was the worst.
Oh, fuck.
There's something weirdly convoluted about Voldemort's plan to like make Harry win the tournament, to like put him in the place that he ends up in. Like Mad-Eyed Moody, Brandon Gleeson's character, is like an imposter in this one. Like he's like being replicated by somebody else.
Yeah.
So that when the Mad-Eyed Moody you get to know in this movie isn't the real one, and then he shows up in the later movies without any other character development.
I know, yeah.
And it's like, we don't really know this guy. Like, why should I care about him? You know what I mean? Just like weird shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had more background with the books because you might be able to draw a comparison. It's something that I'm going to open up this year, I think, for sure, is get into those books. So maybe it's something I'll bring in at a later date.
Every criticism that I have of the stories, I always ask my wife because she's like a Potter expert. The reason she gives me, like, I don't know, just things sound really convoluted in the books in a way. Like, okay.
It's how it goes, man. The books have more time. Moving on.
Oh, one last thing. Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead shows up in this movie.
Really?
He plays in the band that plays for Homecoming.
Is he like the lead singer or something? Or
no, he just plays guitar. I think
okay.
he's probably on screen for less than 5 seconds, but I noticed him.
That's cool, actually.
More like trivia than anything.
Number 5.
Number 5. This was a hard one for me. Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, okay. I have the Sorcerer's Stone. Order of the Phoenix. Damn, dude. It's like straight up like my favorite. It's like my favorite one.
Is it really?
Yeah. I don't know why. It's the one I've watched the most.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the very first note I wrote was, this one hurts. It almost ended up second.
Okay.
And I feel like when I did some review last night about it, something about it wasn't right for some reason. And we'll get into it.
I think it's a weird movie. Elizabeth tells me it's the best book. To me, I think some of my favorite moment is like the opening with like Harry and Dudley and the Dementors.
Yeah, that seems awesome.
I don't know. It has like good carryover from the last film with like Cedric dying, and like that's something that like weighs Harry down throughout the film. Him becoming more like Voldemort coming to him in his dreams and like torturing him. You get to the end, it's like the best wizard battle between Voldemort and Dumbledore. It's the coolest shit in the world.
It's by far the best action sequence of the entire series. Where I think a lot of the time it turns into like almost like Star Wars-esque. Like we're gonna shoot lasers. And like good guy has red laser, bad guy has dark green laser. Yeah, but like seeing them use elements and in a very creative, like visual way, it's awesome. One of the best things of the series.
I actually like, even though how annoying Umbridge becomes as like a headmaster, like she's actually like a really satisfying villain.
Yeah, she's one of the best antagonists of the whole series as well.
You grow to hate her, and for the right reasons. The death of Sirius is a big role at the end. I don't know, the fact that like Harry and the rest of the gang like grows a shit ton of independence in this film. I don't know. To me, I don't know why it felt like the most important. Like I think the ending scene was the most impactful for me when Harry tells Voldemort like you'll never know love or friendship. Like it like literally almost makes me cry. Even though like it's kind of a whack scene where like literally at one point Voldemort's like bleh.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's the weirdest editing in the world, but like for some reason it still works for me.
Dude, it's like a split-second shot of what looks like a soap opera.
He has like a fucking deep ass fucking V-neck. And he just goes like, he goes bleh. Like, and it's the funniest shit in the world. But yeah, for some reason like it's still like super emotional scene for me, and for some reason it's the one I watched the most growing up, and it holds a special place in my heart.
Okay. I really like this one, honestly. It feels wrong to have it up here at number 5. Dolores Umbridge, awesome antagonist. I think a lot of new characters are introduced in this one, and I'm sure in the book it's explored a lot better. But now we have all these new faces that, like, to me don't mean a whole lot. The woman whose hair changes color, and Moody, who we don't really know. Luna Lovegood, who actually I like a lot. Like this is her first movie, and her like in every movie after this is like pretty cool. I feel like the stuff with the Ministry and Umbridge like takes up a lot of time to where when they go and visit the Ministry later on, I don't understand why they're going as much as I feel like I should. You know how they're trying to get the prophecy, like this crystal ball thing, and I'm like, what is it? Why is it important?
Yeah. I don't know if I should mention this early on in the ranking, but I had this conversation with Elizabeth in regards to knowing that we were going to do this podcast, and I told her, I was like, I really don't know like Voldemort's motives the entire fucking series. He's just like bad guy that wants to take over for some reason. And I think when I like kind of pulled back like that, I was like, damn, this kind of feels like pointless.
Dude, a lot of the big concept stuff, especially like in these middle movies, like 4, 5, 6, I just don't feel like I understand the lore enough, like from the movies alone. And it kind of like lightens the impact of the final 2 in a way. Yeah. Like,
there's a reason why they're so low on my list.
Yeah. And they're a little bit higher for me, but I have like other reasons why I like them more. Oh, this one has like the worst CGI work of the series.
Yeah.
Do you remember like the big troll that's like Hagrid's brother?
Yeah, so fucking bad.
Dude, it's horrible.
Like his skin texture is really odd. The lighting on it's super weird. The centaurs and stuff that show up in that scene as well.
There's some weird stuff with like Harry having a romance with like this Cho Chang girl, which is like the most racist fucking name for like a Chinese character I've ever heard.
Her, she was like Cedric's love interest in the previous film. Like, yeah. So weird.
Her and Harry share a kiss, and then they never speak again.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Also, Sirius Black's death kind of fell flat for me in a way.
Yeah, it was always one that like didn't make any sense to me, and like he like falls through like some sort of weird fucking portal.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Like I really love his character in the 3rd movie, and then for Goblet of Fire, and then this one, it's like he's non-existent, and then he dies.
Yeah, like he shows up to Harry like in the fireplace in Goblet of Fire. Yeah, and then like that's all you get from him. You know, Harry develops like a love for him because he's like the only family he has left, and yada yada yada. But
it's one of those things that I guarantee is much stronger in the novel.
Books. Yeah. Moving on. Number 4.
First. Number 4.
I have The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Ooh. Okay. At number 4, I have The Deathly Hallows Part 2.
There's a reason why I have it as low as I did, and I think.
Wait, was this last place for you?
Second to last, 7th.
That's right. What do you have last place? I already forget.
Number 1, Part 1.
Oh, okay.
The Deathly Hallows for me feel, I don't know. They feel like so on their own, so far removed. I think like Part 2, obviously it's ranked higher than Part 1. It's definitely better than Part 1 to me. I think my favorite part of the film is like the Harry's realization that Snape was on the good side the whole time. Like, stuff like that was like super beautiful, and like how Snape loved Harry's mother the whole time, and there's like this weird duality with like Harry's dad being kind of an ass. It helped tie together a lot of really good things, but the movie's so bleak. Like, I think like the battles and stuff at the end are super fun, and like everybody has their moment to shine. Like, even like fucking Ron's mom like kills Bellatrix or something. Stuff like that's super cool. Ultimately, like Neville Longbottom like saves the fucking day.
Yeah, it's a cool moment.
But I don't know. To me, like the last two movies are just fucking weird to me. They're like my least favorite, and I don't know why. I think like all the charm is removed and everything is just like high stakes, and they feel so isolated in the way where I can't really relate them to the other films. There's nothing fun about them.
I think this is the hardest one to talk about of the series for sure. It's the shortest movie and it's the most simple.
Yeah.
And I would say like 50% of it is like the final battle. Now that I think about it, I mean, this middle portion of the list was really hard. Like, honestly, Order of the Phoenix probably could go in front of this one for me. It's just a really solid ending to the series. Like, it's
For
like,
sure.
hey, they stuck the landing for this long-ass thing that's been going on forever. I think some of the stuff in the beginning is fun. Them taking the polyjuice potion to like,
Yeah.
they go to Gringotts as like Bellatrix and the other Death Eaters. That shit's really cool, especially because it's like the first time you've returned to that location in 8 movies.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the reason it's here is like, yeah, it's like just really solid, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
There's like some goofy shit, in my opinion. Ron is able to open the Chamber of Secrets because he heard Harry in his sleep.
Yeah.
Like, also, you mentioned Ron killing Bellatrix.
Ron's mom.
I'm sorry, Ron's mom. This makes no sense to me. Bellatrix, she's Neville's like mortal enemy.
Yeah.
She killed his parents. So Ron's mom gets to kill her? What?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just weird. There was like a lot of like loose ends that got like snipped at the end, and
Yeah.
I think it's honestly kind of, I think the last 2 movies are super weak.
Okay. We'll hash it out more with part 1, but yeah.
Number 3,
Go ahead.
I have the Goblet of Fire.
Number 3, I have Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Okay.
I think this movie is pretty underrated.
I hate you. I'm glad we're disagreeing so much.
The reputation that it has, I think, is all because it's like the setup movie for what a lot of people would consider a much cooler second half. I think part 1 is cool to me because it's the one time in the series that we kind of slow down and like focus on the humanness of the situation in a way. We're stuck in the woods. It's a character slow burn drama for a long time.
I will say one of my favorite moments in the series is when Harry and Hermione share a dance.
Yeah.
And a song by like Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds plays.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking moment in the films. But I just think it's a little too boring.
The pacing is very uneven. Like, I think the movie could have been a bit shorter for what it is.
I mean, you get like the not fun, but like there's a nice cliffhanger with like Voldemort getting the Elder Wand, and like things are definitely moving in a pace where we're approaching the end and it feels high stakes, and like that's really gratifying. But to me, I don't know why, but it just doesn't resonate with me. Like, it doesn't feel like this is what the series represents to me. Even like they're not bad, by any stretch of the means. I just think out of the 2 parts, it's definitely the weakest, and I think like it's one of the lowest rated films in the series as well, critically. And I think it makes a little sense for me that way. Like, this is somewhere like in a 7 out of 10 or something like that.
Yeah. A lot of it, I think, is because like narratively it's not super cohesive. It's more of these like disconnected events. But a lot of the events are highlights for me of the series, like them visiting like the Malfoy house and like the death of Dobby and Harry, like everybody having to clone themselves as Harry to like get him from point A to point B. Like,
That's a great opening. Yeah.
Like, a lot of great moments. I mean, but yes, it's very fucking slow in the middle, and maybe like visually unimaginative at times, just because we're like hanging out in the woods.
I think that's too bleak for me, like cinematography wise.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Both films. I mean, in a way where like I just don't think it's fun anymore. There's a lot of charm that gets removed, and like don't get me wrong, it's the point, but I think it's a little heavy-handed.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I agree. It just feels like the first time that like the repercussions of the events of this entire series feel like they're felt outside of Hogwarts.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
Like
true.
the series is about like oncoming war. And this is the first time it really feels like something's happening in that way.
That's true.
I don't know. It kind of opens up things in a narrative sense for me a lot. And I love like the slow character moments. But yes, many people will probably say this is their least favorite. And I understand that.
Numero dos and numero uno. We're almost there.
What do you have at number 2?
Numero dos, I have the Half-Blood Prince.
Damn, I had it at number 8.
I know.
Holy shit. You were right. We were going to butt heads on this one. Number 2, I have The Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, this is a respectable movie. It's just not my favorite, you know?
Yeah.
It's not up there.
I think there's a lot of reasons to rank it lower than the others. Maybe it's nostalgia talking. There's a weird comfort I get from watching this one. But with the special effects and like the childlike narrative, it's like weirdly timeless to me.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. It's a special film. You know, it's the first time we're here. 9 3/4, you know, the Sorting Hat, Quidditch, He Who Shall Not Be Named. There's like some really fun, interesting stuff going on, like Dudley and the rest of the family like being absolute fucking wankers.
They're the worst.
The fucking worst. But, you know, it's the first movie, and I think there's a reason why it's one of the best. I actually think like it's the best movie poster out of the film.
Yeah. I was looking at some of the other posters and they were like weirdly generic.
Yeah.
Like all the same color palette. And yeah, this one, it looks good.
Yeah, for some reason why. I don't know why, but it's the best cover. And, you know, there's Harry gets his wand and it's the brother wand. It really doesn't make sense until later in the film or later in the series, excuse me. And I don't know. It's super charming and fun, and although it doesn't make any sense why fucking Slytherin gets the house cup fucking stripped from him at the very end. I'm like, that's the fucking weirdest thing. Like, fucking Dumbledore is supposed to be all wise, all powerful, like, fairness. And he's like, but in light of recent events, fuck you. Like, okay.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Honestly, that's like hilarious.
Like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is the worst teacher in the world.
Man, it really is just a perfect introduction into concepts, characters, ideas. This one feels the most magical to me in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lighthearted. We've got child actors that they aren't amazing, but it could be a hell of a lot worse.
They get thrusted into the fame after this one.
Daniel Radcliffe is like pretty wooden in this one, but he doesn't need to be anything more because he's kind of like the audience surrogate into this world.
For sure.
Like we're experiencing everything through his eyes for the first time. Nothing's too complicated or convoluted yet. It's just so simple. The antagonist is really fucking lame in this one.
Yeah, so fucking boring. Although, like, it does like help set up like the character personalities for later in the films. Like, yeah, it's just solid all around, like really good movie.
Harry doesn't cast a single spell in this one.
Really?
You know, he doesn't really do a whole lot of magic in the whole series now that I think about it.
Yeah, he really doesn't. He's just fucking Harry.
It's more about him being like brave and a leader than like committing actions,
Yeah,
I guess, like
that's
violence, which I guess like makes him more empathetic of a character in a way.
He's stoic, kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like an audience surrogate. Like he's a vessel. I don't know if that's a good thing, but ultimately I think it works out in the end.
He's like a blank slate in this one.
Yeah.
Like the trial stuff at the end, the wizard's chess, like they're like going through these mini games to like get to the final boss in a way.
When I make my move, y'all free to check the king. Yeah, classic. Devil's Snare, the three-headed dog.
It's really cool for what is basically like a kid's movie.
What year did it come out?
2000, I think.
Damn.
23 years. Jesus.
I was 1 year old. A meagerly little 1-year-old.
Like this blew my mind when I saw it in theaters.
Damn, you're old.
I'm very old.
Damn, homie.
My hip was hurting today. And I was like, about time for me to retire.
That's great. Dude, the day you fucking turn into an old man is the day a part of my soul dies. That's fucking tough.
Man, this soul will never get old. Only my body.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say about simple ass movie, man.
Number 1, I have Order of the Phoenix.
I have Prisoner of Azkaban. I think a lot of people have this one at the top.
My mom loves this movie. I never really cared for it. I don't know why. And like after you told me a couple weeks ago why you loved it so much, I don't know where the conversation came from, but I know for a fact you told me it was like one of your favorites. I think you were just texting me that you had rewatched the films with Liv or something. You like explained like, here's why I like it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's super valid. Like, it's a weird one. Cinematography wise, it's like set up like a horror film.
I know.
And like these quick edits and like these in camera zooms, just like this almost like cocaine energy sometimes.
In a way, yeah. It's very stylish.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I feel like it's not just a great Harry Potter movie. Like, I think it's like a great standalone film. Even if you disconnected it from Harry Potter lore, I think this story is really strong in a way.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is.
I think this is a heavy plot movie where you get like the time turner, like going back in time, and there's like this Marauder's map. There's that angle of like mystery and Harry using the cloak more. You get what's the Griffith's name?
Oh, I can't remember.
They gotta stop it from getting its head cut off.
Olivia would scream at me right now if she knew I couldn't think of the name. This one's directed by Alfred Cuarón.
Yeah,
I think is how you say his name. Probably butchered it.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. He did movies like Children of Men. He works with the cinematographer that worked on Birdman. Like, the camera movement in this one is so unique from the other ones. These amazing transitions through like glass panels. Because time is a thematic element, we get these like crazy camera movements through the clock tower multiple times.
Yeah.
They do these like seasonal vignettes with the Whomping Willow outside to showcase the seasons changing, which I think shows the passage of time better over the school year than any other movie in the series. I think it's the story where I could understand why you'd feel iffy on. It has nothing to do with Voldemort at all, and I kind of like that in a way.
Yeah. You think Sirius is like some big bad guy, in the end he turns out to be the good guy. Like this movie used to like terrify me as a kid. Like the werewolf and shit, like that fucking terrified me.
Yeah.
But like you also get the introduction of like the Patronus charm and like the defense against dark arts, and things start to feel a little more fleshed out lore wise in that way. And then like in the end, the last like 20 to 30 minutes of the film is like starts like a false ending.
Yeah.
And then they turn back time, and I don't know, like
it's like a big downer before they have to go back and correct everything that went wrong.
Yeah, and it's really unique.
No conventional antagonist in this one.
Mm-mm. It used to scare me as a kid, but I think now if I rewatched it, I would be so much more open and like loving towards the film. Like I think where I would rank it a lot higher, like it probably would take over Goblet of Fire, but I think Goblet of Fire, I've seen it. Actually, we watched it on TV like not too long ago. So
I think it would shoot straight to the top, or like close to the top 3 for you if you rewatched it now.
I don't think anything can beat The Order of the Phoenix for me for some reason.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but it just holds a special place in my heart.
There's like nothing I can really complain about in this one. Like it feels like really tight story-wise.
Yeah. I think we didn't really talk about it, but like the way the characters and like their wardrobe changes and haircuts and stuff, like I think this is like the best that the characters look throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
Or the film series. Like Harry in the Goblet of Fire looks fucking raggedy. Like his hair is way too fucking long.
It's like indicative of like emo haircuts at the time in a way.
In Prisoner of Azkaban, he looks older than he is in the Goblet of Fire. In the Goblet of Fire, he looks younger because of the long hair. And then like in the Order of the Phoenix, he looks older than he does in Prisoner of Azkaban. But the way they like change their wardrobes and haircuts throughout the films just like is really bizarre to me. I think this is like the best like the series looks.
Like aesthetically.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I love this one so much is because there's like a greater emphasis on characters that I love a lot more. Of course, like Sirius Black is awesome. Professor Lupin, like all the stuff with them like confronting their fears in class. The wizard Mexican standoff that they all have in the middle where they like realize that it's like between Snape, Lupin, and Sirius about Peter Pettigrew. I think that's the best acted scene in the entire series. Like, just the three best actors of the series, like, monologuing at each other for a few minutes without the kids interfering.
Yeah.
It's, like, just so intense. Everything's shot at these, like, Dutch angles, so it's, like, weirdly horrific. I don't know, man. I like, really, really love this one, like, considerably more than any of the others of the entire franchise.
Okay.
I'm getting giddy over here thinking about it.
Good, man.
Okay, I do have one negative. It ends on a really goofy freeze frame. I've actually saved it in my notes here for you to see.
I forgot about that. He's writing on the Griffith.
It freeze frames for the credits, and it's like the goofiest thing ever. It's like, whose idea was that?
And then Ocean Man, won't you take me back? Yeah. Yeah.
What's that from? SpongeBob?
I don't know, but it's like it goes with any movie ending.
I think it's a Flaming Lips song.
Ocean Man. Yeah, it's a good song, man.
It is.
It's fucking Harry Potter, dude.
Everybody that listens to this is going to disagree with both of us to a degree.
Yeah, man. It's fucking Harry Potter. We did it, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. Harry Potter it's great. Who doesn't like Harry Potter? It's better than the MCU films, I tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm glad that we did this instead of MCU.
Oh, I would have fucking killed myself. We did it. We did our thing. I had fun. We'll be back soon with our normal shenanigans. Tron Legacy's coming up, so hype for that. Getter, if you could do me the honors one more time tonight, I appreciate it, buddy.
Adios.